shave?
Oh, thank you, honey. Yeah, I shave with my straight razor again. Well, welcome back. This is Murray Carter once again, here to demonstrate my sharpening techniques, and then I'll be shaving with a straight razor. There's been a lot of debate about the validity of my techniques. And while I clearly state in all of my videos that my techniques are my own techniques and that they work well for me, I've been kind of forced into a corner to explain and defend my style of technique for sharpening with a razor. So first I will just simply shave with the razor and demonstrate a level of comfort with the razor. And then one by one we will look at all the techniques that I use, and I will explain and validate my reasoning and rationale for the techniques that I use. So we've already established a new edge on this razor, which we a few videos ago knocked the edge off completely and established a new edge. We stropped it on a 1000 grit stone backwards, trailing edge. We stropped it on a 6000 grit stone, and now we're going to use this fine Japanese natural Kyoto Honyama stone. We'll also do a stropping or a trailing edge motion, and then we will strop it judiciously on a leather strop. Nice hard-backed leather strop. In one of my videos I used this piece of belt, which was too long anyway, that's why I cut it off. And this is a nice hard-back strop with no give to it. Okay, now we'll get ready, we'll lather up, and we'll get ready to shave. Okay, well, here we go. I'm going to shave with a straight razor, and idea is to feel for comfort off of this edge trailing stroke system. Yeah. For starters, feels absolutely fine. No pulling. No discomfort. But I cut myself. Well, it must be sharp. Gave myself a little nick there with the tip. Well, you can see a straight push cut, and it doesn't leave a single whisker, and I didn't feel any discomfort. Didn't pull, didn't tug. Straight, easy, clean cut. Okay, so now we get to the area that is difficult to shave. If there's any uncomfort, this is where it's going to be. In fact, if you notice on some of the razor forums, you got a lot of self-claimed experts who don't even bother shaving this area. They sport goatees. I say, gentlemen, if you want to gain credibility in the community, shave daily the area that is difficult to shave. Then we'll listen to you. Right under the nose. Now, my eye in past videos twitches when it hurts. That's a dead giveaway. When I shave with the Koshinada, the machete, the scissors, you see a little bit of eye twitching. You're not seeing any eye twitching today. It's because this is a comfortable shave. Watch for the eye. I certainly can't control that, guys. Never mind the blood. Happens to the best of us. I didn't see an eye twitch. I didn't feel an eye twitch. Let's try the chin. Okay. I'll go and clean that up. Now, except for being a little tiny nervous and nicking myself there on my cheek, I've got a really good shave everywhere, and that's just the first time going over. Absolutely no discomfort, no eye twitching. And for those of you who claim that my technique can't produce a comfortable shave, I'm simply saying you simply do not know what you don't know. And you can say that you're going to duplicate these techniques at home and try and say, oh, no way, it didn't give me a clean shave. Well, you can't duplicate my hand on my stones with my razor. And besides, you guys are as biased as can be anyway. Okay? So let's continue on now. I'm going to clean up, and then I'm going to give you a step-by-step explanation as to the logic of my system. It might not convert all of you. In fact, I don't even want to convert all of you. I simply would like you guys to have an open mind to see that there are many different ways to sharpen a blade. And I feel like you should give me the credibility for having a different way than yours. We'll see here in a second. Oh, it's too bad with that. What a distractant, huh? It was a fine shave. No twitching under the eye. It was as comfortable as the shaves I've ever had. Yeah. Too bad for close-minded people. Oh, hi, honey.
Wow, nice shave.
Oh, thank you, honey. Yeah, I shave with my straight razor again. Okay, let's look at some of the techniques I use step by step, and I'll explain why I use them and the logic behind them. First of all, on all of my stones, starting on the 1000 grit stone, I take all of my blades, I grind in a new edge, get rid of the old edge. And I don't do that in a way that the blade is going to wear out prematurely. I only do the bare minimum necessary to establish a new primary edge. If it's already got a good primary edge on it, of course I skip that step. I don't do that with every single time I sharpen. But after I've got an edge that passes the test of the three finger techniques, and listen guys, when you don't cut yourself with a three finger test, it doesn't matter how sharp the knife is, off a 1000 grit stone or anything. Your brain tells you to stop as you try to move it forwards and backwards when it's really sharp. So after I can tell I've got a new primary edge, then I do always strop backwards. Now here's the reason why. On any stone, I don't care how finely you've lapped it with your diamond lapper or another stone or what have you. On the stone at any given time, as you're using it, there's going to be stone particles, metal particles, and little dips and bumps and undulations in the stone, microscopically. You can't feel them with your hand, but they're there. Every time you push this cutting edge into the stone, this edge, which you hope is going to look something like this. Nice and triangular, even on the highest magnification, 400, 600, even 1,000 magnification with an electron microscope. Your goal is to make a triangular edge. That's what sharp is all about. If this is round, how can that be then if it's angular, triangular? It can't be. This is sharper. Agreed? Okay. So if you're trying to make that perfectly angled primary edge in the stone, every time that edge bumps against a stone particle, a metal particle, or a bump or an undulation in the stone, it's dulling that part of the primary edge. Conversely, if you strop backwards, that edge always rides over anything that's on the stone, any imperfection in the stone, thereby always bringing it out more triangular. That's why all of my strokes are backwards after I've established a primary edge, not cutting into the stone. Now let's talk a little bit about a slurry. I guess in the straight razor community and also in the community that sharpens wood plane blades and chisels, some people like to use a slurry on the stone. That's fine if it works for them. But this is the reason why I don't use a slurry, is because a slurry is composed of stone particles. And every time you push that edge in to the slurry, it's that primary edge is bumping against all those little stone particles in the slurry. Now, the logic behind that is very deep and very scientifically based. They say that the reason why a blade dulls is because of carbide pop-out. Carbide pop-out. If you have little furrows microscopically in the edge of your blade, where you've got a mountain and a valley, a mountain and a valley, mountain and a valley, those carbides in those mountains can pop out or break off between those valleys. The idea of a slurry is that as you're pushing that primary edge through the slurry, instead of having scratches that are all aligned along that primary edge, they'll be crisscrossed and mismatched, and kind of the scratches will be going every which direction. And the idea is that will supposedly limit carbide pop-out. Now, I can understand that theory. However, I feel that carbide pop-out is secondarily caused by the scratch pattern, but primarily caused by metallurgy, by the quenching and tempering process, the size of the grains, the size of the carbides, and the tenacity of the forged steel due to the heat treating process. So what I'm saying is if you have a superior blade of superior metallurgy, polishing through the slurry is not necessary. And I've proven that time and time again using the Hitachi white steel #1. So that's my take on the slurry. I feel if you have a blade of superior metallurgy, slurry is counterproductive, although I understand why a lot of people use it. Now, some people say that you can't get a shaving sharp edge off of a 6,000. Some of you say you can get a shaving sharp edge off of a 1,000. In fact, your opinions are all over the place. However, first of all, I never shaved my face straight off of a 6,000 blade. I always was using either the newspaper to strop it afterwards or a natural water stone such as this that I go over to Japan and hand select myself personally and bring back in my luggage every year in October when I go over to Japan. So here's the thing about establishing that primary edge and then stropping. This is a candle, and hopefully it's large enough that we can explain kind of what's going on microscopically at the very tip of your primary edge. So you have a primary edge that you've established somehow on some kind of hard abrasive, like a sharpening hone, sharpening stone. Now here's the thing, is that that's nice and angular and good for cutting. But if at this point you strop it on a very loose strop, okay? So we've got a strop and it's fairly loose and it's not backed by anything hard, and now it's fairly flexible. What happens microscopically when you start stropping your razor on a loosely backed strop, is a rounding of your primary edge. Okay, so by this logic, I hate to tell you guys, but it doesn't matter what stone you establish your primary edge at. If you strop that aggressively, you're removing so much steel from the primary edge microscopically. You've rounded that tip out so much that it doesn't even matter what stone you've established a primary edge on. 1,000 grit, 6,000 grit, doesn't matter. If you strop aggressively on a loosely backed strop, you've rounded that tip out so much that it becomes a moot point. That's why I suggest stropping judiciously on a hard strop so that you can maintain this kind of geometry and not that kind of geometry. This whole idea about putting 3M electrical tape on the back of the spine of the blade. The three explanations that I got from one of the forum members was, it expedites sharpening, it prevents wear on the back or the spine of the razor, and thirdly, some guys just don't like hone marks on their razor. Okay, well, you know, I got guys who bring me in real big fat combat knives every now and then that have powder coating on them. And they say, oh, can you make this thing razor sharp for me? But don't scratch the surface of the blade. And I hate to break the news to them all the time. You cannot get the blade thin without taking metal off of it, especially the secondary edge. So here's the thing about the tape. A, it's not traditional. They never had tape hundreds of years ago. B, by putting tape on the back of the blade, you fundamentally circumvent the whole design of the razor. We have a razor in cross-section like this. It was designed thoughtfully over hundreds of years so that when you lay the razor flat on a stone, the back spine acts as a guide so you can grind in your primary edge. If you mess with that by putting tape on and thereby artificially increasing that angle, you're going to end up with more of an obtuse edge. And at first, it won't be too much of a consequence. But after repeated sharpenings, and as your razor recedes, as you can see, this razor has had years and years and years of use. It was originally wider, and now it's probably 2/3 of its original size. If you keep up that, using tape on the spine, you're going to have such an obtuse edge that it's not going to function nearly as well as the way it was designed to. This razor is designed that as this blade recedes, this gets ground away, and you end up grinding at the same angle. You go from here to here to here to here to here, and you get the idea. That's the way it's designed. Any razor that's been used for a long time, you can see a lot of wear on the side, and that's what allows. As that gets narrower, it maintains that same primary edge angle. Now, for those guys who don't like scratches on it, tough luck. That's the way this razor is designed to be used. And if it's got file work on there, again, tough luck. You know, here's the thing. You got the razor because you want to use it. It's not meant to be looked at and put on a mantle and admired. It's meant to shave your face. It's a tool. So get over the fact that you're going to have to scrape up and put hone marks on the spine of it so that you can sharpen the thing. It's just not very manly of you. Some guy said that he can shave with anything. He could even shave with a tuna can lid. We're waiting for your video on the tuna can lid. I'll be really looking forward to that with anticipation. Now finally, as to the challenge that Brad, whose forum name is Undream22, has put to me, that he was going to send me a razor that he sharpened so I could shave with it with an open mind, see how it is. I'm sure it shaves just fine, just like mine do. And then he wants me to put my edge on it and send it back to him. Go ahead, Brad, send the razor. You'll find my address all over my website, cartercutlery.com. And yeah, let's get that going. However, when I send the razor back to you, don't expect that I'll be thinking you're going to give me an unbiased review on the razor. After all, Brad, you were the first to shoot the first shot and openly criticize me in an international forum about techniques you didn't know or even understand. Rather than ask me about them, you started with criticism. Additionally, you advocate the use of electrical tape. How seriously am I supposed to take that? Thirdly, you posted a response to a challenge that wasn't even directed to you. It's directed to GS6 gun. And lastly, Brad, you sport a goatee. And how seriously am I to take you when you don't even shave the hair under your nose or on your chin regularly? Do that, and in my eyes, your credibility will increase. Okay, guys. Well, in conclusion, I hope that I was able to explain my position on things like why I drag the edge backwards on the stones and why I'm against stropping on a loose leather belt, and why I don't like a slurry in a stone, and that obviously I can have a nice comfortable shave. Again, in conclusion, you can use whatever techniques you want. I just love shaving. I'm an advocate for blades, and I'm an advocate for shaving with different things: razors, scissors, machetes, swords, camp knives, spoons. I don't care. I have fun. I love it. I just want to be an advocate for blades. I want the whole world to know you can have all this fun with sharpening things and shaving. I'm also an advocate for results. Get the results any way you want. That's fine by me. I'm not criticizing anybody's techniques. I'm simply trying to show you that a time-proven method for doing it. Thank you for the people who are my loyal supporters. And this is just an open invitation for people on forums to be more gentlemanly when they want to question a technique that they are not familiar with. Let's just stop the attacks and stop the criticism and just be more open-minded and say, hey, could you tell me more about that technique? I'd really like to know more about it. That would do so much more for the internet community than open criticism. So this is an invitation. Let's all become more gentlemanly. This is Murray Carter from Carter Cutlery saying, stay sharp.